Hello, America. JOC here with your ranting politics headline updates, where we are diving into today's most explosive political stories that you need to know about. Coming up, Americans are giving Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency some wildly mixed reviews in its first 100 days. Some think it's revolutionary, while others are calling it a sledgehammer approach to delicate problems. Then, as markets continue their nosedive for a third straight day, Trump is telling Americans not to be what he's calling PaniCans about his tariff policies. We'll break down what this means for your wallet. Plus, there's a power struggle brewing across America as big tech's insatiable appetite for electricity to feed AI data centers has utility companies sweating bullets. And if that wasn't enough tension, we've got a Cold War throwback with Russian spy sensors discovered tracking Britain's nuclear submarines right in UK waters. Yes, you heard that correctly. Putin's playing underwater chess while the West is just figuring out the board. Stick around for all this and more in your daily dose of unfiltered news and common sense commentary. This is Ranting Politics Headline Updates. Talk about your government efficiency report card. Americans across the country are giving some seriously mixed grades to Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, led by tech billionaire Elon Musk. According to Fox News Digital, which conducted interviews in Knoxville, D.C., Detroit, and Houston, citizens are deeply divided on whether this government-slashing experiment deserves an A or an F. Some folks like Candace in Detroit are absolutely thrilled with the initiative, calling it fantastic, and pointing out that government waste has been going on for decades. She even mentioned that Obama tried tackling this back in 2011, but claimed no one ever did anything about it. Matt from Tennessee seems to agree, giving DOGE a solid B grade. But hold your horses, not everyone's drinking the efficiency Kool-Aid. Micah in D.C. slapped DOGE with a big fat F, saying they've wholesale damaged our nation's system of government. Art from the Capitol didn't mince words either, calling their performance very, very poor and criticizing their sledgehammer approach. Richard in Houston went even further, describing DOGE as the worst thing to ever happen to our country. Talk about not holding back. According to DOGE's own claims, they've saved Americans $130 billion so far. That's about $807 per taxpayer. They've been busy canceling diversity initiatives, consulting contracts, leases for underused federal buildings, and what they call duplicate agencies and programs. Here's where it gets interesting, though. A recent Fox News survey shows Americans are caught in a contradictory mindset. While most think the national debt is a crisis and that government spending is wasteful and inefficient, a slim majority actually opposes cutting government jobs. About 56% disapprove of how the Trump administration is identifying and reducing wasteful spending, and a whopping 65% worry there's not enough planning going into these cuts. Even Republicans aren't totally united behind the effort. 39% share the same concerns as most Democrats and independents about how the reductions are being implemented. As for Musk himself, only 40% approve of his DOGE work, while 58% disapprove. Just this Monday, the Labor Department announced they're returning $1.4 billion in unused COVID funding back to taxpayers, while trying to recover another $2.9 billion. Is this proof that DOGE is working, or just low-hanging fruit? That grade, my friends, probably depends on which side of the political aisle you're sitting on. Buckle up, America, because President Trump is telling folks to hold steady as his tariff tsunami rocks the markets for a third straight day. The commander-in-chief took to Truth Social Monday morning with some colorful advice for jittery investors. Don't be weak. Don't be stupid. Don't be a PaniCan. Yes, you heard that right. Trump just invented a new political party for the faint-hearted. According to the president, PaniCans are a new party based on weak and stupid people. Instead, he's urging Americans to be strong, courageous, and patient, and promises greatness will be the result. Well, the markets weren't exactly convinced by the presidential pep talk. Within just 30 minutes of Wall Street's opening bell, the Dow Jones and S&P 500 both plunged more than 2%, while the tech-heavy Nasdaq dropped 1.65%. This comes after a brutal end to last week when the S&P 500 nosedived 10.5% over Thursday and Friday, its worst two-day performance since the COVID crash of March 2020. The Nasdaq took an even harder hit, falling 11.4%, while the Dow dipped 8.1%. Behind all this market mayhem is Trump's sweeping tariff package, which includes a 10% minimum base tariff on most imports and significantly higher levies on certain countries. The president doubled down on his trade policy Monday, while hinting there might be some wiggle room, at least for certain allies. Trump revealed he spoke with Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba that morning, who's sending a top team to negotiate the hefty 24% tariff slapped on Japanese goods. They have treated the U.S. very poorly on trade, Trump declared. They don't take our cars, but we take millions of theirs. Likewise, agriculture and many other things. Don't expect any olive branches extended to Beijing, though. China, which has already retaliated with 34% tariffs on American goods, won't get a deal until the U.S. solves its trade deficit with them, according to Trump. As he bluntly put it, it all has to change, but especially with China. When asked Sunday evening how far the markets would need to fall before he'd consider backing down, Trump didn't mince words. I think your question is so stupid. I don't want anything to go down. But sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something. Meanwhile, Trump's economic team seems to be sending mixed signals about the tariff's duration. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick is painting a rosy picture of trillions of dollars of factories being built in America due to the policy shift, while Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett emphasized that over 50 countries have reached out to negotiate lifting the tariffs. The big question remains, is this short-term pain for long-term gain, or is America strapped in for a prolonged economic roller coaster ride? Either way, according to the New York Post, the president's message is clear. Don't panic or risk being labeled a PaniCan. Stay with us as we take a quick break to hear from our lead sponsor whose support helps make this show possible.
Hey, you brilliant inventors and creators. Have you crafted a product that's ready to break out from the digital world and hit the physical shelves? Imagine your creation sitting proudly in stores like Walmart, Target, and Home Depot, where 90% of purchases still happen. Well, it's time to turn that vision into reality with Product Fury. At Product Fury, we specialize in bridging the gap between online innovation and retail giants. In fact, we have secured millions of dollars of royalty deals for dozens of products at big box retail stores. Whether you're selling gadgets, home goods, or anything innovative, we're here to amplify your reach. Don't keep your product confined to the web. Visit www.productfury.ai today to submit your information for a free product evaluation. Let's get your products out of the internet cloud and into customer carts. Remember, that's productfury.ai. Make the leap from clicks to bricks and see your product thrive in the bustling aisles of major retailers. It's your time to shine on the big stage. Visit us now.
Hold on to your power strips, folks, because America's electric grid is facing an unprecedented challenge from the tech giants' insatiable hunger for electricity. According to a Reuters report, utilities across the country are being bombarded with massive power requests from big tech companies looking to build data centers for their AI operations, and the numbers are absolutely staggering. A survey of 13 major U.S. electric utilities found nearly half have received inquiries for volumes of power that would exceed their entire peak demand or existing generation capacity. That's right. These tech companies are asking for more electricity than these utilities currently provide to all their existing customers combined. Take Sempra's Texas subsidiary, Encore Electric, which serves the Dallas area. They've received requests to connect an additional 119 gigawatts of power, nearly 4 times what their system currently handles at peak usage. Over in Pennsylvania, PPL has fielded requests for more than 50 gigawatts, including at least 9 gigawatts in advanced development stages. That's higher than their current generation capacity of 7.2 gigawatts. This puts utilities in a classic damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. If they underestimate the coming demand, we could see an unstable electrical grid with increased blackout risks. If they overbuild, guess who picks up the tab? That's right, you and me, the rate-paying public. What's making this planning nightmare even worse is the tech industry's shotgun approach to site selection. Companies are approaching multiple power providers across different states, seeking competing bids for the same project. This effectively inflates power demand forecasts, making it nearly impossible for utilities to predict what's actually coming. As John Gordon from the clean energy trade group Advanced Energy United put it, what we're seeing is this huge proposed influx of these abstract projects that nobody knows anything about. James Richmond, CEO of energy management company E2 Companies, explained the tech strategy plainly. The data center process is to have a competitive bid from 3 companies in many markets. That 1/3 automatically is going to win, and 2/3 is going to drop out. The situation has gotten so confusing that Pennsylvania is considering creating a clearinghouse for data center power requests just to get a handle on what's real and what's speculative. Jacob Finkel, Deputy Secretary of Policy for Governor Josh Shapiro, admitted, "It's something that we're looking at pretty intensely." Adding to the uncertainty are skyrocketing construction costs and potential technology shifts. Building a megawatt of data center capacity cost nearly $12 million in 2024, and that price tag has only increased since then. Trump's tariffs on materials like steel are expected to drive those costs even higher. There's also a wild card in the deck, emerging AI models like DeepSeek that promise to require significantly less computing power, which could mean much less electricity needed in the future. TD Cowen analysts recently reported that Microsoft, one of the world's biggest AI spenders with $80 billion plan this year, has already pulled back from projects representing 2 gigawatts of electricity in just the last 6 months. As utilities announce billions in additional capital spending to meet this potential demand, the big question remains: are we witnessing the birth of a new energy-hungry digital era, or are we setting ourselves up for a costly overbuild? The answer, like your smartphone battery life, remains frustratingly uncertain. In what sounds like a Cold War sequel with modern surveillance tech, Russian spy sensors have been discovered tracking the United Kingdom's nuclear submarine fleet right in British waters. According to an alarming report from the Sunday Times, this discovery has been kept under wraps despite military officials considering it a serious national security threat. The Royal Navy has found these spy devices lurking in waterways surrounding the UK, raising fears that the Kremlin's covert operation aims to monitor and potentially sabotage critical British infrastructure, including the country's 4 Vanguard submarines that carry nuclear missiles. One senior military source didn't mince words, stating, "There should be no doubt there is a war raging in the Atlantic. This is a game of cat and mouse that has continued since the ending of the Cold War and is now heating up again. We are seeing phenomenal amounts of Russian activity. Intelligence suggests this isn't just random spying, but part of a coordinated gray zone warfare campaign personally directed by Vladimir Putin. Beyond the submarine tracking sensors, officials have discovered additional covert equipment planted on the seabed, spy gear washing up on British shores, and unmanned Russian vehicles suspiciously positioned near deep-sea communications cables. Even more concerning, 11 underwater cables in the Baltic Sea have been damaged over the past 15 months. A senior source revealed that Britain relies on 60 internet cables connecting it to the outside world, some of which aren't even publicly known. In a particularly brazen move, British intelligence indicates that super yachts owned by Russian oligarchs have been deployed as floating spy platforms to conduct underwater surveillance operations. Captain Simon Presti explained the military's response. "Our role is to both defeat any threats to the UK, as well as take it out of the gray zone. We do the latter by understanding who is involved and providing that evidence to avoid misunderstandings and make those who threaten the UK accountable for their actions." While Russian vessels operating in UK waters isn't exactly breaking news, the government is now scrambling to secure funding from technology and energy companies to help protect underwater infrastructure. In the immediate term, the military is launching a project codenamed Cabot to bolster resources through partnerships with private industries dependent on underwater infrastructure. Some Navy sources are advocating for more extreme measures, suggesting the UK should deploy sea mines, a defensive strategy not used since the Cold War ended. The Ministry of Defense responded with a statement emphasizing their commitment to security. "We are committed to enhancing the security of critical offshore infrastructure. Alongside our NATO and Joint Expeditionary Force allies, we are strengthening our response to ensure that Russian ships and aircraft cannot operate in secrecy near the UK or near NATO territory." For now, Britain's continuous at-sea nuclear deterrent continues to patrol the world's oceans as it has done for the past 56 years, though perhaps no longer quite as undetected as they'd like to believe. And that wraps up today's Ranting Politics headline updates. What a news day we've had! From Americans giving Elon Musk's government efficiency department every grade from A to F, to Trump telling panicked investors not to be PaniCans while markets tumble for a third straight day. We've seen utilities struggling to handle big tech's insatiable hunger for power as AI data centers multiply, and discovered that Putin's Russia is playing underwater spy games with Britain's nuclear submarine fleet. This is exactly why we created this podcast, to cut through the noise and give you the stories that matter most without any partisan spin. Remember, at Ranting Politics, we don't align with Democrats or Republicans. We align with you, the American citizen who deserves straightforward information. My friends, if you're enjoying the insights and the independent ethos we're dishing out here at Ranting Politics, don't be a stranger. Jump into the lively conversation on X. Give us a follow at RantingRP, or check us out at rantingpolitics.com and subscribe to our newsletter or stop over to our all-new YouTube channel. We're always buzzing about the next big headline and love to see your takes on the fiasco that is politics. And while you've got that phone handy, come on, I know it's in your reach. Do us a solid and tap that like and follow button on your podcast feed. Your support doesn't just boost our reach, it keeps real independent thought in the game against those giant media machines. We're also on all your favorite podcast platforms, from Apple Podcasts to Spotify and now Alexa. Hit that subscribe button for regular updates chock full of unfiltered analysis and all the news that's fit to rant about. This is JOC signing off, and thank you, our loyal listeners, for choosing Ranting Politics headline updates. We'll be back soon with the updates you need to navigate these interesting times. Until then, stay tuned, stay informed, and as always, stay free.
Is your home's landscaping, exterior style, or outdoor space ready for a transformation? Whether you're lakeside or curbside, make the most of your property with Garden and Grow Design, your premier digital landscape designers. At Garden and Grow Design, we specialise in increasing the value and beauty of your home by crafting elegant outdoor living spaces. Our experienced and creative designers use cutting-edge 3D technology to blend seasonal colours, perennial blooms and stylish hardscapes into your ideal garden. And the best part? It's all designed for minimal maintenance. Don't just imagine your perfect yard. See it first with our innovative digital designs. Whether it's a serene waterfront retreat or a chic patio for entertaining, we bring your outdoor dreams to life. Ready to grow? Visit www.gardenandgrowdesign.com to start your journey toward a breathtaking landscape today. Garden and Grow Design, cultivate beauty, cultivate life.